Andy, there's a lot of people are fascinated by the royal family, like in the United States for a lot of reasons. For
Yeah,
having pushed back against monarchy, Andy, we love the royals, right? Obviously, The Crown is very popular. The Harry and Meghan drama was front page here just as much as it was over there.
yeah,
We love the royal family. Queen Elizabeth's funeral was highly watched here. The king and his family. This week, Andy, they released kind of some of the salary or like some of the expenses around the royal family, and it's kind of eye-popping, I think.
yeah.
Um,
It's a lot of money.
it's a lot of money. Like the travel budget alone was $5.4 million in 2023, beside being around 400 fewer visits and less foreign travel. I
Yeah.
mean, the king paid 7.6 million in taxes his final full year as the Duke of Cornwall. That's before he became a thing. It's a little eye-popping, Andy.
It's eye popping, and I mean, it's he's paying taxes on money taken from the people and investments they've made on the people's money, right? So I mean, the Royals
Yeah.
own a lot. They make money off of that, but it just reminds you about how really gross monarchy is. And while it's fun to watch it in England, thank God we don't have that here. Although some are trying to put it back in place, it seems like. But I mean, really, thank God we're not subsidizing a family on our job.
Yeah.
And hey, to our credit, there's legislation that is in the Senate right now to stop congressional trading, Dave. So not only are we trying to
Uh,
not have kings and queens, but we're also trying to get some kind of control over the shenanigans of Congress. So good job, America.
Crazy enough, though, the people who who are most affected by this are going to have to vote for it. That's the stupid shit about our
Yeah.
thing. But yeah, the prince Andy made 30 million. I does he have a skill other than going around and shaking hands? And I don't know. So
He does
30
that well,
million.
though. He does that well. He's a good handshaker.
Yeah. I mean, my fascination with his wife too. So she's quite beautiful. So, anyways, Andy, how's your morning going?
Dave, let me tell you about my morning. So I've got a routine that I follow here, right? I wake up, you and I do this podcast early. I work, jump on this podcast, I work some more. But before I get into all of that, right? Before that 5 o'clock hour hits, it's still in the 4 o'clock hours. I do all the morning stuff, right? I straighten up around the house. I take care of my pets, right? I've got two
Mm.
dogs and a cat, Dave. My cat, sweet cat, is 13 years old. She'll be 14 this year. Wonderful cat. She's a weirdo. She's just a really weird creature, always has been, but really sweet. Every now and again, she does something where I'm like, "You are freaking awesome." So I go downstairs today, and I go down to open the door where she stays in the basement, and I walk in. I do my morning routine where I feed her and I clean up, her business and everything. And there's a pile of what I thought was cat poo, and I was like, "Why did she crap on the floor over here?" I go and I take a look, Dave, and what do I see? I see a dead bat, right? And I was like, it's like 4:30, Dave, and I was like, what the hell? And so I don't know how you react to these things. I always sort of recoil a minute when I see like a dead bat or a dead mouse. So it threw me off. So I ended up cleaning up the dead bat, disposing of it, and just I was very proud of my little cat for successfully eliminating this threat from my household. I mean, she is, 13, still getting up there. I don't know where the bat was, but I know that it was dead on the floor, and she did it. So good job, Kat. Very proud of you. Very grateful for you because that would have freaked out my household if like they had woken up to bat. When I was a kid, we had a bat in our home, and it was a intimidating experience for everybody. We just didn't know what to do with it until animal control came out and retrieved it. In this case, my cat was a beast. She killed it. Very proud of her. So that was my morning. So my adrenaline was up a little bit. Dealing with dead animals, also dealing with my sweet loving live animals, and that's how my morning's been. So a little bit of animal activity, a little bit of work, and a little bit of coffee, and here we are, Dave, for America, serving at 5 a.m.
That was them protecting you, and that was offering you a sacrifice, Andy. So we had a similar story when we lived in Maryland. We had a weird history with cats. We had them, and then we didn't have them for a long while. Then now we've got cats again. But when we had one cat before, he liked to go outside a lot. We couldn't keep him in, so he'd be running in and out all the time. And we knew like we needed to come in because we had a sliding back door to a deck, and then there was a window next to it with a screen. When he wanted to come in, he just jumped on the screen, Andy. It was
Yeah,
like that was his doorbell. Well, one day he came, we opened up the back door and there was a dead mouse there with him sitting behind the mouse. And he was very proud to say, I am protected this house from you
yeah.
from this mouse. So
They show you, right? That they do. They take pride in it and they boast. She was strutting this morning. My cat was
yeah.
like she walked out of the room that she stays in, and like she had a little. I was like, well, she doesn't usually walk out that way. She was letting me know, like, hey, I kicked that thing's ass. So, I'm proud of her. I'm proud. Score one for Catwoman over Batman. She got it done.
Yeah, there you go. Nicely done. Nicely done. Nice start to your morning, Andy. So let's get into our 3x7s. Andy, let's talk Olympics because I mean, some games have started already. U.S. women's soccer started last night, but and there were some others, yeah, other soccer matches already going. But the official kickoff is tonight or today with the opening ceremonies, and then we get into it full-fledged, Danny. I'm excited about it. I'm going to be looking forward to some of these big events. The coverage is out of control this year. Like it is all over the place.
Yeah.
If you don't have Peacock, you're going to love Peacock because they're putting every sport on live. You can just flip it on and watch go away. So that's exciting. So I'm going to try to enjoy that. I am a fan of Peacock, like their wrestling at all. So Andy, let's talk a little Olympic sports. I teased it a little bit last time. Men's basketball. Again, you've got a collection of professionals, a huge amount of professionals. We have dominated men's basketball over the years, Andy, until kind of recently. I guess it's been an up and down history. Andy, if we look at the counts against for the Olympic Games, we've been in 19 of them with basketball. We've won 16 golds, one silver, two bronze. The FIBA World Cup, which is another huge event, 12 times, only five golds, three silver, and four bronzes there, Andy. When you look at the pre-work to this Olympics or I guess the pre-Olympic schedule, not overly exciting. We beat South Sudan, Andy, by 1 point. We
Yeah.
needed a stop at the last minute. We barely beat Germany, and Germany won the FIBA World Cup last time. Andy, we may win gold again, but we're not blowing teams out by 30 points anymore. Is this good for basketball? Bad for basketball? Where do you come down on this? This dream team, like we have some of the best athletes playing,
Yeah.
but guess what? So do the rest of the countries now.
Yeah. I think it's exciting, Dave. I mean, some sports don't export well, some do, right? So baseball has limited followings around the world. Some countries where it's super enthusiastic support, right? Japan, Cuba, and elsewhere, people love baseball, but a lot of the world like doesn't care. They play cricket or they don't play anything along those lines. Soccer, international sport, right?
Yeah.
And basketball has really become international sport. You look at the NBA today, some of the best players come from Europe, right? Greece and from the Balkans. And I mean, you've got some remarkable talent and athletes. Not all of them look like athletes, but they are, right? I mean, you've got some phenomenal, and it's great to see that. And some of the best players, being drafted from France and elsewhere. The NBA, and I go back, Dave, to one of our heroes growing up, John Thompson at Georgetown University, who really was a pioneer, I think, in going to Africa to find talent, flying internationally, and to teach people about the game. But it's really become an international game with leagues around the world, with great talent all around the world. And so we don't dominate the way we once did because a lot of those teams that we're playing against are featuring NBA players. Canada, is featuring NBA players and talent. And while it's we're not the glorious dream team that came together to squash foreign talent, the dream team came together because our non-professionals weren't able to keep up the way that they
Right.
once did. I think that's a testament to the success and popularity of basketball globally, and I think that's awesome. I think it's really great. I think it's great that America still has the best league in the world. The NBA champions can still call themselves truly world champions, but it's getting more competitive, and there's interest all over. I think it's really cool. I think it's great.
Yeah, that's where I'm coming down to. I would much rather have these games 6-point games or like where the last possessions really do matter.
Yeah,
I mean, it's going to be really good. We open up against Serbia on Sunday, and that's, you got the two-time NBA, he's an NBA champion, Nikola Jokic. I can't even, I'm butchering his name, but he's the Joker, I guess is lovingly more called. I mean, he's a two-time MVP. He's an NBA champion. I mean, these teams are tough anyways.
yeah.
I love it. I think it's going to be really good for everybody here, Andy. So what else? What other Olympics are you looking forward to? We talked a little bit about soccer previously. USA Soccer is probably not expected to do a whole ton here, but soccer wise, the women started off pretty strong.
Yeah.
There's also other sports. Andy, what else are you looking for?
Yeah, I mean, soccer is awesome. Hey, hats off to Mallory Swanson yesterday. 2 goals in just over a minute as women went on to a 3-0 victory. Super exciting. I mean, USA women's soccer is still competitive. We've been the best in the world. Some people think that we've taken a step back, but our women athletes are still phenomenal. And I mean, Mallory didn't get to play last year. The team was playing at the international level. She was injured. Came on and made a statement yesterday. So that was awesome. I'll tell you, I was as here my home was invaded. Usually it's quiet in the morning hours as I work. Yesterday, I hear TVs blaring and family getting excited watching international rugby. So I stepped out. I was like, "What is going on here?" And I was like, "This is phenomenal. 30 minutes, match is over. Super fast game, high scoring, fantastic athletes." So I was like, "What is this?" So even before the Olympics really kicked off, the rugby tournament was already in play. I thought that was awesome to see. That's a brutal, aggressive, violent, fast-paced game. Thought it was really cool. So there's a lot to get excited about already. Just getting started, but go USA women's soccer.
Yeah, so it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. So we'll keep tabs on, maybe we'll have a check-in each week to see how what we're watching and where we're going. Because Andy, then you got to turn around and next thing you know, we're right in football season again, Andy.
Oh, yes, we are.
It's gonna be exciting times. It's gonna be exciting times. All right, Andy, we'll wrap that one up. We'll wrap that one a little early. We didn't even go the full 7 minutes here. We did, so all right, Andy, let's turn a little politics because things did happen again this week. We had President Biden's address to the nation. He came out. It wasn't a very long speech, but I think it was very clear the message that he was, he's just not up for another 4 years. And when it comes down to it, and you could see it again in this, and I'll get your thoughts. But Andy, the other thing too that I want to get into is this malinformation is in high gear. A lot of stuff getting out there. So let's start with the president's speech. Andy, did you watch it, and what'd you think?
Dave, I did watch it. I thought he did a good job in what he said, in making the case for why he felt like it was time to step down, talking about his career service, talking about handing the torch to the next generation, which, Dave, is something we have been calling for, since we started this podcast. He said all the right things. I commend him for that. I also commend him for looking pretty good because coming out of COVID at his age, he looked pretty good. Good makeup job, everybody. But he also showed, Dave, and I don't think anybody would disagree. He showed that really he is not physically up to doing this job for another 4 years. I mean, he was shaky. He had a hard time with certain things. He still sounded, his voice was still an older man's voice, right? And so I think he really showed America, like, hey, I get that you want to serve, that your heart is, here, that it's hard to give up the presidency, but he wasn't going to get it done. I mean, he really isn't up to doing that job for another 4 years physically. It's a challenging job, right? We know that. We know it's physically demanding. And so I commend him for it. And I thought it was a good speech. I thought it was a good handoff, and I'll share a comment that I made about it. But what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you're saying. Is I didn't watch it. I got the cliff notes at the end. I think he hit all the right tones. I'll just go back. I mean, he really should have done this
Yeah,
like a year ago. And I think that's the disappointing part. But I mean, I don't know if you knew this, Andy. You talked about how good he looked. He's actually dead, Andy, and that's a
that's
stand-in for him. So I mean, that's why he looked good, Andy. He's been dead for a year now, Andy. So it's all part of the conspiracy. But I think this was right. I mean, again, people can, take shots all they want at it. I think that was the right thing to do. I'm glad he ultimately settled on it, even if he was pressured into to doing it. I think the right approach is now we have a real election for real vision for the future. It's no longer about what your record is versus my record. It's what's your vision for the future. And I think that's where it's going to be exciting to see these things play out. So let's transition a little bit to Andy to like this malinformation as well as the attacks that are starting to come out now in full force. And I had mentioned previously, listening around, you could hear that the Republicans were just holding off on where they were going to try to attack Kamala Harris. And there's a lot of places they can attack for sure. But because she's been in the public before, or she's been out there, she's been on the border. She was supposed to be this, help solve the border. And even though the Republicans squashed the administration's deal because Trump wanted to be the one to do the border deal, she's going to get a lot of negative credit for it because nothing's really changed there. But we hear laughing Kamala, we hear the coconuts, we hear a lot of the stuff that are going on around Kamala now, and she's way left Kamala, by the way.
Way
And
left.
I think that's just going to be some of the attacks we see. On the other side, the stuff about JD Vance is all coming out now. And I think you're starting to see some, the cat lady comments. The Democratic Party is just a bunch of cat ladies. We shouldn't allow them to run this country. So you see people coming out about that. And then you see the this malinformation, Andy. JD Vance had sex with a couch, and there's obviously no evidence of any of that happening, but you can see the power of it because it's spread like wildfire all over social media to the point that they had to come out and put statements out against it. Are we at a point, Andy, that the mistis malinformation is actually more in the public view than the actual truth is?
Well, I mean, it is to an extent. There's a lot of it, and because we listen to things and don't always follow up to figure out like what's real and what's not, it creates untrue buzz, right? And so so the JD Vance thing, I think is pretty funny, right? It's completely not true. He didn't have sex with any counselors, but Dave, as I said before, consensual activity among healthy adults is their business, and if JD Vance wants to go hog wild on his couch. Like, I'm not here to judge him, right? As I said on Threads yesterday, like, end victimless crime, and couch banger stigmas, right? It's his prerogative, but he does not, as far as anybody knows. But the fact he's come out now and make a statement denying screwing his couch is the whole point, right? For the Democrats, I think Republicans are playing a dangerous game when you go after people that have chosen not to have children, a topic we talked about on Wednesday's podcast, right? Or you want to sort of make these derogatory stereotypes, you risk offending people that may be in your camp. And I think that's a risk they run. It's a dangerous game and it's offensive to attack people for life choices they've made, right? So, whether it's the cat lady comments, or the childless mother, that kind of go together in the way they're being used. It's offensive and it's dangerous, and so it's not a good place. Like, let's talk about the issues. Let's have real debates. Let's see where things are. We're in a different place than we were a week ago, a very different place, and there's a lot to figure out, Dave. But also, I think I have not seen so much enthusiasm from the Democrats, in a long time. They're
Hmm.
excited, and I think it's creating a whole new game for political events in the rest of this year, and it's going to be really interesting to see it play out.
Yeah, I agree. We're up for an exciting campaign season, Andy. It's gonna be good. And so we'll see where it goes. But please, everyone, I mean, I'll just do my, you know, public service announcement before you like do any start spewing out like shit you heard on the internet. Please make sure you verify that information. Like just don't be a promoter of misdis or malinformation. There, that I had to do it, Andy. That's my
Dave,
thing.
Dave,
So
you did a good job. You did a good job. Dave, can
uh,
I say, I thought it was pretty clever. Just before you leave this one, are you? I can't remember. You are not a Star Trek fan, right? That was never
no,
your.
no, I actually like it. I'm just not over the top. I watched the movies. And I watched Star Trek The Next Generation. My dad and I used to watch that a lot. I have not watched any of the other like the shows and other stuff, but I hear it's supposed to be good. So
So if I reference the Kobayashi Maru,
Oh yeah, I know what the Kobayashi Maru is.
So this was my I woke up yesterday and I thought that's what's happening, and I was very proud of myself for thinking this up and posting it on Threads. I was saying basically Biden looked at this unwinnable test, right? For those who don't know, the Kobayashi Maru is a test that these rising officers have to take to advance in Starfleet, and so James Kirk, Captain Kirk, is going to take this test, and it's a test that you can't win, right? It's designed to make you deal with a no-win situation, and so Kirk, being Kirk, goes in, tinkers with it, and creates a way to win. And he wins the Kobayashi Maru, pissing everybody off because he found a way to win, right? And my thing was that's what Biden did this week, right? He looked at the 2024 election like it was a Kobayashi Maru, and he said, "Hey, Kamala, we're gonna Captain Kirk this thing. We're gonna win." And he kind of did that. Like he's taken, even though this was something that a lot of people were calling for, he took drastic action to set his party up for victory. And Dave, like Captain Kirk, I think they're going to get it. I think they've created a way to win what would have otherwise been a no-win situation, and that's clever. Now again, Captain Kirk cheated. This isn't cheating, but I thought it was clever. I was proud of myself for it. Made some Gen AI art, so I was proud of myself for that too. But anyway, I'll stop talking there because I know we're over time on this topic.
It was impressive. Go to your threads, Andy. Everyone go to Andy's threads and you'll see what he created with Kamala. It's quite impressive. I do like the Kobayashi Maru, the unwinnable. Um, were you a new Star Trek like with Chris Pine? Or
Oh yeah, oh
did
yeah,
you like those movies?
I did. I did.
Yeah.
I thought they were really good. I think he's a good Captain Kirk.
Yeah, yeah, I think they did a good job with it. I'm not particularly huge about like resetting the timeline. I like the way they did it, but at the same time, is like I wish they would have just told regular stories. But again, really like the those movies. And we're talking pop culture here, Andy. So we've got, I mean, the big news today, Andy, is Deadpool and Wolverine comes out. The reviews are already in.
Yeah,
Huge on Rotten Tomatoes, 98% on Rotten Tomatoes after the first day. The critic reaction's not been huge. I mean, it's still good. I mean, the people are saying, "Oh, it's the same old Deadpool jokes and stuff." Andy, when I watched the first Deadpool, I didn't watch it immediately, but I was like, "Oh, you have to watch Deadpool two or three times, I think, before each of these movies before you truly appreciate how good they are." The first time I was like, "Okay, this is good." Then I was like, "Oh, this is awesome." And I like that one. The second movie I thought I watched it in the theater and I was like, "Oh, this is good," but I didn't like it as much as the first one. But now I love Deadpool too. I think it does an amazing job, and I love all the scenes there. So I'm going to be interested to see how this plays out over the weekend. It's going to do killer at the box office,
yeah.
and I think it's just what everybody needs for a good summer popcorn movie. Violence, Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, swearing, making fun of everyone else. I think this is exactly what you needed at a blockbuster, Andy.
Yeah, so I'm excited about it, Dave. We've been talking about this for a while. I think we've been both looking forward to it, anticipating it. We bought tickets yesterday, so not this weekend, but next weekend we're going to be heading out, my family and I, to go and enjoy that together. I'm looking forward to it. We saw the first one again. I shared a story before. Didn't know what I was walking into. I knew
Yeah,
Deadpool. Didn't check it out. Just thought it was a Marvel movie. Should be fine. My kids were young, and there's some pretty heavy scenes for young guys in that first
yeah,
Deadpool.
yeah.
So we were like, covering the kids' eyes. We're like, "Hey, don't look," but we enjoyed it nonetheless. Deadpool 2 wasn't as good, but it was still fun to watch. I think I should go back and give it another watch. But this pairing is just such a dynamic pairing. Nobody gives a shit about movie ratings and
I
reviews, right?
know, I
Because
know.
your opinion is your opinion, and it doesn't matter to people. Like I'll say, people love the Avatar saga. I can't stand the Avatar movies. I can't even get through them. I've tried numerous times. I can't even get through them, right? And I like James Cameron, but everybody's got their own preferences. So I think if something interests you, check it out. Spend a few bucks, check it out. If you hate it, you hate it. But I'm excited about this one. I'm looking forward to it. So Yeah. Are you guys gonna go to the theater and check it out? Or is it gonna be a streaming event for you?
We're going to try to go to the theater this weekend. I'm just not sure what's going to behold us in as we go down to Florida this weekend. But if not this weekend, I'll definitely try to do it next weekend. I want to get to see this movie. I'm excited about it. Andy, another movie that's another sequel that's kind of getting a little bit of a buzz is Joker 2, Andy.
Yeah.
This is obviously a sequel to Joker with which is different than the Disney or the DC universe. This is completely separate, not your normal Batman Joker type of thing. They're doing an interesting take on this one. This is somewhat of a musical. I don't know how they're going to pull this off, but I'm interested. The reviews are looking really strong, Andy. Did you? I didn't watch the first Joker. I have no desire to see the first Joker. Did you see it? And are you going to see Joker 2?
So I did see it, and I thought it was really good. I like Joaquin Phoenix. I think he's a very good
Yep.
actor, and I think he did a great job. And we talked this before, sort of the Joker backstory. It was a different telling. It was interesting. It was a fun sort of take on a classic character because we've all seen the Joker a million times, right? By a thousand different actors, right? Going back to the old Batman TV show. This was a very different story, and it was a good story. It was well done, and Joaquin Phoenix was awesome in it. And everybody loved. I think it was Margot Robbie, right? I think she played Harley Quinn in that one, if I recall. And now Lady Gaga's coming out to play in this one. Now I'm not excited about a musical, to be honest. It doesn't get me excited. And I'm guessing, just based on the timing of this will be something we watch online at some point down the road. But it's going to be fun to check it out. It's going to be fun to check it out. I mean, hey, Lady Gaga can wail. I don't know if Joaquin Phoenix can or not, but it might be fun to see it as a musical, however exactly they pull it off. But I think we'll check it out because the first one really was an excellent movie.
Yeah, I think for everyone, they'll have their time. You know, uh, yeah, you have the opportunity to see a good movie. So, Andy, one other, I guess, like pop culture type of thing. You shared this with me. News about a Facts of Life revival. Facts of Life, a very great '80s show.
Yeah,
Were you a Blair or Joe? Like, did you prefer Blair or Joe? Real quick on this one.
Joe,
Yeah,
Joe,
okay.
without a doubt, Joe. Nancy McKeon was one of my many brunette crushes growing up as a kid, like no doubt.
Yeah, okay. Well, apparently there was a work in the works. They were going to try to do a revival a couple years back and try to get this on the I guess on the books, but there's some bad behind the scenes drama that really prevented us from going. Would you have liked the Facts of Life revival, Andy?
I would have liked to have seen it. I don't know if my family had been interested in watching it with me, but I loved that show growing up. I loved the original, cast of characters. There was a much bigger cast originally before Nancy McKeon joined the show, and then she joined, and later George Clooney joined, and they traded out the headmaster at the school. I love that show. I watched it in reruns for years and years. It's just one of those things that, as a young kid that moved to America, like I watched and I thought this is great, and didn't hurt as a young kid to be watching, teenage girls, and I was like, wow, I love them. I think, and so it was a lot of fun. I was a big fan, and the Figure Revival would have been fun, but yeah, went off the rails. Went off the rails.
Yeah, it's too bad. It's I what I loved about those '80s shows was like the interconnectivity of it. Like the Facts of Life people would show up like those little crossover type of things. The people from Facts of Life would show up on different strokes.
Yeah.
And you'd see them cut across some of those scenes. The characters would then get their own spin-offs. We don't have that much I don't think anymore. It's you get a couple seasons and people are too big for it anymore and they move on to other things and I guess you just don't see it. So
Well,
back to
Molly Ringwald, who I think folks of our age and listening to this show probably remember. Molly Ringwald was one of the original Facts of Life characters. When she was young, she went on to have great success, of course, as part of that group of young actors that had huge success in the '80s. People forget it was a big show. It was a big show, and of
yeah
course George Clooney, like we said, got his start there, and he went on to do a couple of things since then. So.
yeah. He could even say he ousted a president, Andy. I don't know.
I
So
mean, maybe he did. Maybe he
maybe he
did.
did.
Yeah.
All right, Andy, that wraps up all our topics for this week. I'm heading down to Florida today, later today. I'll be out Monday, Andy. Well, I don't know. Jury's still out. You may be solo Monday, Andy.
Dave, I'll try to carry on if I have to. I know people will miss your presence and the banter, but I will try to well manage the show in your stead. Have a good time on your trip. Enjoy your trip. I have a son that just got back from Florida, literally, and a son that's getting ready to go to Florida. So there's a lot of commerce between here and there for our families.
Yeah, the I'm looking forward to only visiting Florida. I don't think I could ever live there again, Andy. But yes, I'm looking forward to going back there, getting some sun, and just relaxing for a couple days. But I will wish you well if you are solo. Otherwise, I'll catch up with you next time, Andy.